All right, folks, after a lot of video clips and mashing it all together and creating the Mr. CarPlay install video, I wanted to do a quick verbal intro. So this is a step-by-step guide on installing the aftermarket Mr. 12 volt that enables CarPlay and Android Auto in the XK and XKR Jaguars from 2007 to 2015, and that's US years, in the OEM head display unit, as you see for the duration of this video. It's designed to be extremely detailed on purpose, so even a complete novice can follow along and get the job done right. Just a heads up, this was done live for the very first time by me, not knowing anything about what I'm doing outside of watching the manufacturer Mr. 12 volt video on YouTube, and noting that some folks had some confusion here and there. So I thought I would go ahead and record mine. I will warn you, this video is over 2 hours long in total. So I expect that most of you will do a lot of fast forwarding and jumping around just to get that freeze frame still, or a short clip of a tip on what to do. I just wanted to make sure everything was clear. Where I made a mistake, whether it was verbally or fumbled about, if I couldn't cut it out, I replaced it with text. Obviously, once this is in, I can't redo any of it, so it is what it is. I am not a videographer or a podcaster or a YouTuber, so the video quality is decent, but the format and layout, going from portrait to square and others, puts black bars on the screen, but hopefully it is tolerable and visible for everyone. Just as a reminder, this is specifically for the Jaguar XK, XKR, X150 platform from 2007 to 2015. And some parts that I go through, although I try to call it out, are only applicable to the 07 to 09 models. We have to jump through a few hoops because the screen software itself in the version that we got from the manufacturer is unable to display the portable audio button, even if it were turned on in the car configuration file. So you have to get a newer screen, or you have to have your screen flashed to 2009 or newer before attempting to install and use the Mr. 12 volt. If your setup is 2010 or newer or 9, and you have the ACM module, I believe that's that Bluetooth module that goes in the trunk, I will post a link to an excellent thread that was recently posted in Jaguar forums, and it explains with pictures where that little bypass piece that you have to do is located. I do not have to do that for my car. Finally, I do want to point out that the Mr. 12 volt team's video does a fantastic job of covering most of the process. I think myself and a lot of others just found that it was extremely sped up, and some things blinked on the screen for maybe a second and then it's gone, and if you don't pause it or watch it on really slow speed, you might miss some things, or there are some connectors that you can't see where they're going. So again, my goal here was to go so painstakingly slow just to clarify any obscured or ambiguous parts of the install process. So only even if you only need a few minutes here and there for your install, and it makes your life easier, this will be worth it for me. So, all right, with that, I'm gonna dive right into the clips. Okay. Time for the intro. So this is going to be in 4 pieces. The wife's at the store, so I don't have a cameraman, even though she probably didn't want to anyway. So a few precautions before we get started. You have to move the gear shifter out of the way if you have a J shifter. If you have a knob, then you're fine. And then you definitely, as you can see here, you want to cover everything with a towel. So what you have to do is put it in ACC mode, accessory, by not depressing the brake. Make sure that the key is in the car, and then you push the start button to get it into accessory mode. Let go of the start button, put your foot on the brake, and put the car in drive. Be sure that you pull the emergency brake. You can't see it here, but my emergency brake is set, and the J shifter is in the drive position. So lighting also helps. Probably can't see this way, but I have a couple of mounted lights that are magneted up to the top of my windscreen. So anyway, you'll need a 20 and a 30 Torx bit. And if you haven't removed the trim around the head unit, you will definitely want a trim removal piece. I'm able to do mine with my fingers because I've taken it off a few times here and there. So as you can see in the tray, I have a screwdriver and my 2 Torx bits, and just for display, but I'm not going to need it, I have the trim removal tool. So there's your intro. One thing I did struggle with every time I've done this so far is that I put it in ACC mode, put it in drive, and I'm trying to turn off accessory mode. And I always forget, you just have to hold the button down. Please, for the love of Pete, do not press the brake while you do that in drive. But you have to hold the start button down for 2 or 3 seconds while it's yelling at you that the car is in drive, and it will shut off.